Ladies and gentlemen, I hope all of you are having a beautiful day. I want to welcome all of you very excitingly to some F1 racing after about a month of summer break for our pilots and our teams and all the members that work for F1 teams. We are finally back to some F1 racing. We are back to F1 weekend. I don't know about you, but I missed F1 so much. I missed it a lot. I think it was a really weird feeling. Of course, at least I have some football that I can watch and I can watch my favorite club play. But I still missed Ferrari a lot. I still missed F1 racing a lot. So I was really excited. And here we go. We are back after a month of break. And I even though it hurts as a fan, I think, and we all agree that teams and and our pilots, they all need a break. They all need a really break. We all know how intense and how crazy Formula One is, and the business is absolutely intense. Fast racing, a lot of mental strength needed in this sport, that you have to stay strong. So after so much intense racing all these weeks, and there's a lot of races that come back to back as well. So you have 2-3 weekends that come in a matter of 3 weeks. So it's a lot of effort needed by the teams and the pilots to be ready to race. So much needed, and I hope that all the pilots got their breaks, got their vacations done, had a good time with the family. Now it's time for racing and end this season on a fantastic note. Now we all know that Max Verstappen is probably going to win all the races this year, but we have to give respect to Verstappen. We have to give respect to Red Bull, even though I am not a Red Bull fan. I'm more of a Verstappen fan, because I do feel that Verstappen and Checo Perez, they're really good pilots. They're really good, especially Verstappen. I know he gets a lot of hate, and I used to kind of dislike him in the past. I must admit. I must admit that I did not like Verstappen before, but knowing more about him, doing some more research about his personality, his life, and how he came into the karting scene, and then making all the way his journey to F1 really made him respect. He's really an old school driver, and it's so rare nowadays. And seeing Verstappen that competitive, and just on it, and giving no space to nobody, and just having this like old school mentality, you know with the likes of Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, may he rest in peace, and many more, pilots who were legendary and who have had an absolutely amazing career. They all have had this old school mentality, and Verstappen has it, but these a lot of these pilots in this grid don't have what Verstappen has, and he is truly special, and we do give him his respect. So of course he won the race this weekend again, 9 in a row for Red Bull, and they deserve it. They put on a great work, and they're putting some fantastic performances together, and we have to give them their respect. Now let's get into the racing for Ferrari. Of course, this is a Ferrari channel. I'm a big Ferrari fan. I'm a tifosi, so I have to talk about just Ferrari. And I just wanted to give just a slight respect. Just give Verstappen and Red Bull just their respect, and just give them time to and show them respect as a Formula One fan. So because 9 in a row is pretty insane. So I really wanted to point that out. Now I'll shortly talk about Ferrari and their season so far, and this race. And this race, okay, yeah, I forgot to talk about where the race was. It was in the Netherlands, and it was in a very underrated track. It's not my favorite of tracks. I'm not a really big fan of the Netherlands, to be honest. I do like the country a bit, but it's not like my most of favorites. But I have the great respect. I think it's a really underrated country, and people from what I've heard, most of them are great people, very helping, very social. From my own experiences, but I mean, some may disagree. But I would like to visit Netherlands one day for sure. They have a good motor race community over there, and also football wise, they have a good football culture over there as well, with some good clubs, very very underrated clubs. So motor racing, football, just great country for these two sports. So Zandvoort, that was the circuit that the race was being held yesterday, and it's a good track, and it's a good track. We have to give them their respect, and they have been holding Grand Prix for a while now. So I think Zandvoort has its own his own unique style of track, and I really do enjoy this track quite a bit. So Ferrari, let's get into it. So Carlos Sainz finished P5, and unfortunately, Charles Leclerc did not finish the race. Now this is once again a really really big issue, and I don't really know at this point. Like it's really frustrating. Now the reason why I'm still optimistic, and this reason why I'm still have a positive mood, even though every week I'm really really heartbroken, of course, by these performances, because number one, this car is basically uh, engineered and constructed by Mattia Binotto, because Frédéric Vasseur came in very very late and the car was already made. So I still do believe that Vasseur, when this offseason comes, he will make his own car, and then we will see how good Vasseur truly is. Now we will see the skills, because it's not fair. Of course, we added a new package. I think it was in España, in Spain, where we added a new package, and we saw some good progress. And the car right now is much much better than it was at the start of the season. Come on now, we all know that was a huge progress. But I still want to give Vasseur some time, and I think that this offseason will be very very crucial for our team. So I'm very very optimistic, and I will give Frédéric Vasseur about 2 years to really prove himself and truly see what is his true potential as a team principal. So I will not give up on Vasseur, and let's just see what happens. And we all know that this off season will be extremely crucial for our team. Now, in the race, I'll end this really really quickly. I'll just say a few words and give my thoughts on the race. Pit stops, once again, we made a very very big mistakes. The tires were not ready. This is just incompetence. I just do not understand that. That was the only thing that really pissed me off, because that's so, like, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. Like, I do not understand. Like, we don't have to practice that much, right? Like, we have a bunch of guys who have been in Formula One for so long, and we all know that at least you can improve the pit stops, and so far we have no issue. It's just like those last 2 or 3 races that we really made some disgusting pit stops. That's what caused us, and now everybody makes fun of us. And honestly, we deserve it, because we're putting a terrible quality races for a team that is one of the most historic, one of the most legendary and elite teams in Formula One history, and forever. Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, they can do anything they can, but everybody and their parents and their grandparents will know how legendary and elite and how much history Ferrari has. And that's why we are the most targeted team, because we have history and we are the greatest team in Formula One history. And the performances that we have put on in the last few years are disgusting, and just, just not as unacceptable. And there's just no other words I could put in that way. So we have to be rational here. We have to be realistic here. And Carlos Sainz just did the best. And once again, we really messed up our pit stop, and the tires were not ready, and it just miscommunications once again. I don't understand. That was just unacceptable. And like, I'm kind of running out of patience for our pit stops. Like, come on, like, you at least don't mess up the pit stops. That's in our control. That's in our hands, But Sainz did the best he can. I'm still kind of disappointed that Pierre Gasly got in front of us. That was not supposed to happen. But I mean, he capitalized on his chances and he got it done. So cheers to him. Pierre Gasly is also a very underrated pilot. And so P5 for Carlos Sainz, and for Charles Leclerc, he had a floor issue, and I think he also got crashed in, I think it was Oscar Piastri, if I'm not wrong, yesterday. And so he had, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think he had front damage and then he had floor damage. And like Sainz, I think it was last race, if I'm not wrong, where we had to retire Carlos Sainz. Now it was Charles Leclerc's turn to retire his car because we had no pace. There was just like no reason for us to stay in our race and basically finish P17, P18 around these results, which for us is very, 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 very poor. So there were just no reason for us to stay in the race, and the most smart decision and the most how do we say, advantageous position for our car and for Pilot was just to retire the car and get that car ready for our next home race, for our beloved Tifosis in Monza. Now, once again, I'm gonna take my frustration out, and I'm gonna leave that frustration in Netherlands. I know every week is like that, but at least let our Tifosis enjoy their home race. I mean, in the beginning of the season, due to their big, I think it was the floodings in Imola. Unfortunately, we were not able to have this home race, and we all know that me and all of the beloved Tifosis, we were so excited for this race, and then we lost that race because of the floodings, and it was really, really bad. So I still want to once again pray for all the victims who have lost their homes, or who have all these damages and have lost some good memories because of the flooding. So I just want to send my best of prayers once again. But yeah, for that, it was really, really heart-wrenching for us to not be able to see that home race, but we have another chance. So I want to expect maximum support for Monza. I just want my Tifosis to be all together and just be strong together, show some brotherhood, sisterhood, and let's just enjoy this race. So next up is Monza. Really, really excited. Leave all of our personal feelings aside and just enjoy a proper Italian race and enjoy Ferrari, regardless of where we are, because we are proud to be Tifosis, and we are proud to love Ferrari with our full hearts. So thank you to everybody for watching my video. I hope you all a good day. Have a great night, everybody. Bye bye.